Recently, Google has gone further in its hostilities toward Iranians and has restricted access to Gmail in Iran. You've heard a lot about the internet shutdown in Iran, but have you ever heard about the many Western platforms and apps that block Iranians' access and effectively shut Iranians out of much of the global internet experience? Let's talk about it. The US has imposed sanctions on the Central Bank of Iran since 1979. That means Iranians have been completely excluded from all global financial transactions for the last 47 years. What you probably don't know is that as part of the sanctions regime, the US government directs American software companies to block Iranian access. This means Iranian IPs are by default blacklisted on a majority of American websites and platforms, especially if they involve any sort of financial transaction. Now let's unpack what this means for regular Iranians. Let's start with Google. Because of its wide use, the Iranian government never restricted access to Google services, and Google allows Iranian IPs to access its basic consumer services such as the search engine, Gmail, Drive, Meetup, etc. Iranians use Gmail heavily, and even for a while, Google Meetup became the go-to online meetup platform in place of Zoom, because guess what? Even Zoom blocks access to Iranian IPs. However, any Google services involving financial transactions such as Google Pay, Google Ads, or any business or developer tools are restricted for Iranian users. Recently, Google has gone further in its hostilities toward Iranians and has restricted access to Gmail in Iran. Since the ceasefire in April, Iran has restored access to Google services. However, it looks like now the Gmail app does not work anymore from an Iranian IP. You can only access your inbox from the browser. Additionally, Google has announced that it no longer supports Iranian numbers for two-factor authentication. That means that anyone who would use their Iranian number up until this point to secure their Gmail account could effectively get locked out of their account overnight. This is just email. Imagine all global platforms related to finances, banking platforms, trading platforms, platforms such as PayPal or Stripe, all blocked for Iranians. Even platforms like Patreon, because they have a built-in payment feature, blocked. Even platforms that are not American, such as the Canadian Wealthsimple app for trading, or basic banking apps, even if the bank is not American, blocked in Iran. And some of these are such hostile blockades that it's not just that Iranians cannot sign up on the platforms and use them. It also means that if you're someone who has an account on these platforms, even if you're not Iranian, and you happen to be inside Iran and trying to access your account, you're blocked. Some of these, especially the banking apps, go even further, and if you so much as try to access an account that you have previously made outside Iran, from inside Iran, they might try to block your access not just to the app, but to your bank account. People have had their bank accounts suspended just for trying to access their banking app from inside Iran. So much has been said about the Iranian government's restrictions on the internet, but actually the domestic restrictions are usually just on social media and messaging platforms. But no one talks about how these same social media platforms, up until not that long ago, did not even acknowledge Iran in their list of countries. I remember, for instance, if you were trying to sign up on Twitter, you could not select Iran as your country because it doesn't exist on your list. They would have Israel, but not Iran. It was only after the Arab Spring and after the attentions turned to social media as a political tool that they decided to provide services for Iranian users. Even then, Iranian users only get the very basic features to create and consume content. But a lot of the privileges that other users get, such as monetizations, ads, brand deals, shopping, all of that is blocked for Iranians. Even citizen services such as Facebook Market is blocked in Iran. And if it wasn't for the political utility of these platforms, I'm pretty sure the same people who have made it illegal to say the name of Palestine and have erased the Lebanese villages from the maps would not have hesitated to completely shut Iranian users out of the internet and the ability to exchange with other humans globally, because that's how they control and manufacture the people's idea of what Iran is. Just right now, Instagram has placed a restriction on my creator profile because it suspects that I'm a bot, not a real person, even though I appear in almost all of my videos. It doesn't even allow me to appeal. This could be because I'm accessing the platform using a VPN, but I have no choice. So it might actually shut down my account pretty soon. One last platform that I want to tell you about that's been particularly frustrating is Spotify. Now, Spotify premium accounts require a credit card, and normally Iranians can't buy them, but there are workarounds, and a lot of people inside Iran try to use Spotify. But Spotify makes it particularly difficult for Iranian IPs, even with premium accounts, to access its content. On a normal day, I can use my advanced paid VPN to access Spotify, even though it's glitchy and sometimes it decides that you're offline and there's nothing you can do about it. Still, you can most of the times use it using a very good VPN. Since the war and since the internet shut down, and because now I have to use specific VPNs to access the internet at all, and I can't add a VPN on top of a VPN, it means I can't use Spotify at all. Now, I've actually been trying to cancel my Spotify account, especially because it's an Israeli supporting company and it's on the BDS list. But since the shutdown, I can't even access my account to cancel the plan. A little while ago, I managed to get a VPN that worked with Spotify somehow, and I tried to cancel my plan. Here's what happened. First, it told me that you can't do it from the app. I logged into the website. As soon as I entered the accounts area, it switched the language to the language of where my VPN server happens to be. In this case, it was a Scandinavian language. But I spent so much time to see if I can switch the language, to automatically translate the page, or to guess where the cancel plan segment is. It's almost as if they've intentionally made it difficult to cancel these plans. So right now I'm basically paying for Spotify that I can't even use, and I can't even access to cancel. But next time you see people complaining about the internet shutdown in Iran, maybe tell them to take it up with the US Sanctions Department.